Hi, hello everyone again. This is Queen Gigi 1015 from Instagram, and myself, my co-host Booby Taylor, and Michelle Moore were attempting to go live on Instagram today about 6 times today. We kept getting knocked off, so we don't know what the problem is. But I'd like to say hello to everyone, and I wanted to give out a little information about myself, my co-host, and people that are in our support groups and people that are our fans. And I'd like to talk about them for a little bit. I'd like to give special shout outs to um, Mr. Adesh Bui of Flame Studios. Thank you. He is our producer for Cookeville underscore USA. And Cookeville underscore USA is a live every Saturday podcast for women and men, and where we empower and support men and women of different genres in life and what they do, their creativities and whatsoever. And we just love interviewing people and talking about life events. We have fun facts. Booby and I and Michelle create our own programs. Mr. Adesh Bui also helps us to with the music and supporting us as our producer. And today it's been very annoying, I guess we can say, because of the fact that we've been bumped off so many times. And Cookville underscore USA is a very particular show for us, and we really do love doing it, Michelle, myself, and Booby. And of course, as I said before, Mr. Adesh Bui producing us in connection with Flame Studio. I do want to say that Flame Studio has produced our first song, and we have been able to go ahead and he to play the song. It's on all music platforms, and I'm gonna play a little bit for you and let you listen to it so you can download it. It's on YouTube, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, so many other places, Deezer.com. Oh my God, iHeartRadio. You can download it there and purchase it for your listening convenience at any time. Um, the song was written by me, and the music was produced by Flame Studio, Mr. Adesh Bui. And we would really like to thank everyone who has listened to it and downloaded it. We hope so far. And it's called Precious God, and it's a feat by Fanami and Afalabi, better known as Hafalabi. I wrote this song. It came to me in a dream one night, and as I was talking to Miss Odesbury about it, he just told me to go ahead and finish writing it. I am a songwriter. I am registered with BMI, and I just hadn't written in so long. I've been writing scripts and plays and whatever because I'm a freelance writer, and I wanted to make sure that I could do something different because I've always wanted to have music, and this is my opportunity to do that. So I'm going to play a little bit of it for you and I'll let you listen to it. And it's called Precious God. It was named by Miss Adesh Bui's mother, Miss Mary Adesh Bui, and we really thank her for the title for that because we were looking for a title, and by her prayers and her praying on it, thank you, Mom Mary, for that. But this is a little bit of it, Precious God by Flame Studio, written by myself, Queen Gigi 1015, and sung by Franami and Afalabi, better known as Hafalabi. Here we go. Whether you fix roofs, move box. Let's see, that's a commercial, so we don't want to go there. And I'll go back to playing the Precious God feat for Nami and Afalabi. And I hope that you like it. It's very inspiring, and it's something that God gave me, as I said, and I wrote it. And Mr. Adesh Bui put the music to it. So now here it goes. It's called Precious God by Flame Studio, and you can find it on YouTube. I woke up today pass away. Down on my knees, praising your holy name. Thank you for blessing me for this brand new day. You are the one who can save me in every way. Beautiful voice, simply beautiful. In your presence, I find my peace. Every burden, every fear to fade away. In your presence, I find my peace. Every burden, every fear to fade away. I walk in your light, guided by your grace. My heart is beating for you. In this sacred place, I'll share your love. Jesus, wonderful. She has the voice of an angel, actually. I really love her voice. She's such a fantastic artist. This is and that's part of the song. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't want to play this in entirety because I only have so long to be here to videotape here. We've tried, like I said today, on Instagram today, and we kept getting bumped off. We don't know why. And we had some topics to talk about, Booby, myself, and Michelle. And again, I want to thank Flame Studio for producing the music for us. He is our producer for Cougarville_USA for music content, including topics, as well as myself, Booby, and Michelle. I'd like to thank again his mom, Mom Mary, for all of her love and support for this song. And thank you for the title, Mom Mary. I really appreciated it very much. Our topics today were about labels and people having so many problems with sicknesses and having to go to the hospital for different things. I see you watching, Timmy. How are you doing? And we wanted to cover that for a moment. And Booby, who is my co-host on Cougarville_USA, we wanted to get in to talk about some of those topics and subjects because we've been having such a run-of-the-mill time trying to get our content over here live on our podcast. And we would assume that the networks or the website itself is having some network issues. So I'm here on Facebook. This is my first time live on Facebook, and I hope that everybody is doing great. We do accept gifts. You can donate to $, Midnight Storm 75. That's $, Midnight Storm 75 to help us to create more content. And we really love having our voice. Hi Booby, come on in. And we would want to give out as much love and support as we possibly can to people all over the world. I love what I'm doing, and I love what my co-host and I are all doing together, and we're supporting and we're empowering people all over the world. So the content today was Booby has a list that we always compile together and we talk about, and we're talking about labels and all those other things that are baddies for your system. And we want to make sure that you can get a full understanding, because there's so many people that don't really want to associate themselves with reading and anything like that. And if we can get them to have a little bit of knowledge about having the digesting, from the cans, the food stuff, the breads, the milk, the cheeses, everything that we consume. If we can have that, we can talk about that today and give you a little bit more about what you need to watch out for. Booby, I'm inviting you to come on camera with you. Like I said, we've had so many trials and tribulations with Instagram today that it's been very difficult for us. But Booby Taylor is she and I do a lot together, and Booby created a list this time, and we're going to talk about that list when she comes on. Hi, Booby, and
Hey, I'm finally
we
back on again.
yeah, but I was just telling people I played a little bit of the song today, and I wanted to say thank you for always being there for me, Booby, and Michelle as well. Booby and I always discuss lists and what we're going to do and what we're going to talk about for the topics. And this time, Booby has her own list, and we're going to talk about those. And we really appreciate what Timmy has done for us and the music and everything, and his love and how he's supporting us as well as Michelle. I'd like to give a shout out to the authors, as I started before, Tanaki, Arthur Mason, for her books, Illusion and the Lord's Prayer, Michelle Moore for her books, Church Click, Passion Lane, and for myself, B, Dolores, Joe Bling, and The Wailing Alien. You can find all of those books on Amazon.com, and of course, our song, Precious God by Flame Studio. Booby?
Yes, and also she's getting ready to start writing on my book. I started drafting some pages, so it's going to be the story, the Booby Taylor story, and things like that. Because I think my life is pretty exciting through the ups and downs and all of that good stuff. And thank you for being here for me as well. You know, ever since my sister passed, my cousin passed, I'm like, God, thank you for Gigi. Sometimes I don't know where I would be without her. But as far as the list go, we already did talk about the reading the food labels. We had some talk about politics and stuff like that. And as far as the reading the labels, also, how would you survive if time went back? That's also like a part of the food thing. If we did have to go back living off the land and all that kind of stuff, would we be able to make it? You know, if we had to go back and live those type of times where the sun was our time factor and the moon was the end of the day and there was no clocks and internet. So how would we survive if we didn't have that stuff?
Yeah, and you're right, Booby, because back in the day, because I'm an
Mhm.
old-fashioned girl, and I grew up in an old-fashioned time frame, and I still exercise those old-fashioned ways for myself. I brought my children up the old-fashioned way, and they turned out to be fantastic children and grandchildren as well. But living back in that time, as you said, we knew how to survive because in this day and
Mhm.
time, this society does not know how to survive. You need books and guidelines and ways to function because we knew how if our lights went out, we had kerosene lights at that particular time before even electricity was available for a lot of poor blacks. My family was low income, and
Mhm.
we learned how to survive from kerosene lights,
Right.
and we learned how to stay warm from charcoal, knowing now the day that charcoal was devastating and dangerous to your health because we
Mhm.
had the tin stoves that were inside with the stack that goes up out of the roof, and
Right.
we were able to stay warm, but only in one room. So when we would have bricks that my mom would put together and put them inside the heater, the charcoal heater, and
Right.
we get them out and wrap them up and put them in the bed because we only had two twin beds, and so the boys slept in the two twin beds. One of my sisters slept with one of my father's mother, Granny Pearl,
Mhm.
and the other sister, we slept in the bed together while the baby Pearl slept with my mom and
Right.
dad. So we had the bricks to keep our feet warm. So survival was important. But I don't know today, Booby, about society and the way things are going now. I don't know if people would even have the knowledge that we have if we don't teach our children, grandchildren, how would they survive?
How would they survive? would they know what to do, and start learning from now. And if you don't know if that's something that you can do, because one of my sons, he always kept saying, I want to go to Alaska. So I started watching the show on Alaska, because he was like, we're going to Alaska. So I looked it up, and that's surviving, where you got to catch the fish and the food and store it for 6 months at a time for the next season and stuff like that. So they're people who live like that. They're the ones who's going to make it. Us who's running the Kroger and Publix and Uber Eats and DoorDash and all of that, we going to have some issues. Do you know how to start a fire if you didn't have a lighter?
Yeah, do you know how to do that? I know how to do that, and
Uh-huh.
I can survive. I can survive. And there are some key tricks to starting a fire too. You can use a spyglass, a magnifying
Uh-huh.
glass, but you got to catch the direction of the sun. Say for instance you're outside and you're in a wooded area and you need some heat or you need to start a fire.
Right.
Okay, you can start that fire outside with a magnifying glass, but you got to catch that sunlight in directly into the lens of that
Right.
spyglass so
Right.
it can ignite. It'll burn. It'll start to heat up and burn whatever element that is
Mm-hmm.
there. So there's a lot of survival tips, probably on another show, but there are so many things that you can do, and there are rocks that you can use to ignite fires, but you just got to know how to strike them. And there are elements out in the woods and things like that that you can survive off of, and there are things that you can eat. If you were living in Texas, I guess, or Mexico or somewhere like that,
Mm-hmm.
there's certain cactuses that you can eat
Right.
and to really use the water from. What's your next topic, Booby?
All right. Now the next topic is also is the whole world just looking at ass and nudity? When you just turn on a video and that's all you see is hiney shaking. Not that there's nothing wrong, but I saw this guy put up a post and he said he was so let down by the sundress season because all he saw was hiney and bonnets, butts and bonnets. So is that the image that we really want to put out all the time? Not putting the image down, but is there a time and a place, when you go back into time and you look at the beautiful black women back in the day, they were seductively dressed, but they still left a lot to the imagination where you really wondered and ooh and odd like that. But now we
Mm.
just whoops, here it is. Oops, there it is. So are we just naked all the time?
Well, I'll answer it with my point of view. I don't know about anybody else's, but I think that there's a certain part of you, a person that would want to cover their heinies and their girls, and at certain times. But now it seems as who are born naked. I guess learning how to dress in the Western world with clothes and everything, and now going outside, exposing your hinds and your girls, it seems to be an attraction for a lot of women. But
Uh-huh.
like I said, I'm old fashioned, and I think that it kind of puts a mark on that personal on that female. Myself personally, this is just my opinion,
Uh-huh.
but I think less is more. I mean, to show less is more. And if you're out there looking for a young man or whatever you're looking for, I think the respect of your body, of course, you want to show it off and your
Mhm.
shapes and your curves and everything. But there's a decent way to do that. That's just me, in my opinion,
Right.
and that's what I would do.
Uh,
But a lot of people, they like to be exposed.
well, honestly, my mom, she grew me up to be a little sex kitten. She used to make all my clothes for me, and that was like, look, I'm 62 now. So look, I just found out I was 62 too. So back then, that was like to catch a husband, type of thing. I'm gonna make sure that you always look like the right part. And she taught what to do, how to do to get a man, to keep a man. It didn't work out, but now I can't say that because I was married twice and my husband did pass away. So I can't say, that's an iffy thing. Is there a time or place? And then when those type of subjects are brought up, do people feel, oh, you just saying that because you can't dress like that? Hey, if I could, would I? Maybe.
Well, I mean, I can. This is me again, personally, my own opinion, and you're watching Cougarville_USA on Facebook Live with Booby Taylor and myself. We don't know whether Michelle is still there or not, but
Mhm.
this is Cougarville. And me personally, I don't want to expose everything that God gave me.
Mhm.
Even
Right.
though I was born, I came in the world naked just like everybody else did. There's a certain amount of respect that I have for myself.
I
Um,
guess we wouldn't
um,
survive nude beaches then.
I wouldn't survive a nude beach because I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't feel comfortable, first of all,
Oh,
even though it's for the beauty of the eye of the beholder, and you going around looking at everybody naked. That's just like just exposing yourself, and there's like whoever wants to you want to engage with. I mean, that's is opportunity is already there, and so you just
right.
engage with it or whatever you want to do. But I would rather not show myself only to the person that I
To the
was in
person
love
that
with,
you're with,
and,
yeah.
and let them see what they see. Not the whole world. I don't care about nudity beaches because that's in a person's own that's a person's
That's
own preference.
a real preference right there. You make a choice to go there.
Yeah, but I'm not knocking anybody that wants to do it. I just personally wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it myself.
Right, right. Everybody, we're not gonna go to the nude beaches, but those are just things that people do and whatnot. And those are comments sometimes where I get my facts from, listening to what people are saying and things like that, chiming in on other people's opinions as well. And
Hmm.
another topic, the courtesy code in business. When you're doing
Yeah.
business with someone, is there a courtesy code that if the business doesn't go further or you don't want to do the business with them no more, do you at least give them a courtesy call? I'm not interested. Or do you just stop talking altogether and then let them assume I'm not going to work with you? What's the courtesy call code in
I,
business?
I think in business, first of all, you should have a disclaimer. You should have a contract out where you can let people know, the ins and outs of what's going to happen in that contract. And if you decide to leave,
Mhm.
those are the terms and conditions that you have. In courtesy through that contract, it would work a whole lot better
Right,
because a courtesy call, if you're not established in business with a contract,
right,
then it's not gonna work well for either one because one is gonna be disagreeable where the other one wants to cut loose. But if you have it written in paper and then notarized, then and let both parties sign it. So when you decide to depart,
hmm,
courtesy is giving them the ability, giving them the announcement, not ability, the announcement to know that
right,
I'm leaving.
right. Right, that's exactly true. So keep the lines of communication open always in business because when those business lines cross in the communication, now you got lost friendships, you got lost business partners because nobody had the courtesy. I don't know if it's the courtesy or not, but make sure you keep the lines of communication open when you're doing business, like you said. And the barter system, does the barter system still work? You want me to do this for you, but do you do something back to get, the product, the merchandise, the interview, the this, the that you want? So does the barter system still work along with the courtesy code, or is the barter system the courtesy code?
Exactly. Is that it, right? Because a lot of people do barter and everything, and it's fine, all well and good if that's the kind of understanding that you have. But
Mhm.
I would prefer something in writing, for that. Okay, next topic.
Right. The next topic is always remember the bucket list. Did you make your bucket list not because you're like ending life, but you just have a list of things that you want to do that now that you got that time to do it? Do you start the bucket list when you retire from being working, or do you do the bucket list throughout your lifetime? How do you put the bucket list in place for yourself?
Exactly. And I think that you can put the bucket list in place, the bucket list in place for yourself by writing down the things that you want to do, in that bucket list, and then executing them one by one, making sure that you do everything that's in that bucket list, because this will be this is your life, and these will be your experiences, and these are the things that you want to do, whether you do them with anyone or not. As long as you execute those things in that bucket list, which makes your life much more exciting, because you're having an opportunity to say you want to go to Italy, say you
Right.
want to go to France, say you want to go skiing down a mountain slope,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. These things, these things are a part of life, and I have one, and
Oh, okay.
I want to execute mine, as I get older and older and older. I want to do those things, because that's another thing where people think that age limits you. If you're healthy enough and you're able enough to get around, to move, to do things that you need to do, then so be it. Execute that bucket
Right. If
list.
you can travel, make sure that you just travel. If you don't want to stay away from your home too long, just go for a short amount of time, a couple of days or overnight, a weekend, and then come back. So don't let too many experiences in your mind go by and you never live them out, and then you wind up living out a life of regret. That even hurts even worse. So if you can
Exactly.
afford to do things, and then if you can't afford to do everything that you have on your list, try to do some things that are less expensive, that maybe even be around your own town or city, or in your own state, because you don't have to like travel across the world, when sometimes your state has so many things that they offer. So make sure you check out the free things to do. A lot of states, I know Atlanta, they have a free list of things that happens in Atlanta on a lot of these
Hmm.
trails. You can get in access to a lot of things, but then on the other end of that, things do cost. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Sometimes things do cost. There's still mom and pop shops and eateries and places like that along some of these free sites that you can go. So you still got to have a little coins, a little cash in your pocket to make sure that you can get where you need to go. But don't let money stop you all the time, because you do need money to access back and forth to where you need to do. But don't let it be a big thing that I can't do that. Save. Start saving. Are you good at saving? Do you put money aside for saving and let it add up? Don't use it when you see the first $50. Let it add up.
Exactly. Exactly. And also, there are other things that you can do too. You can invest in a lot of the stock markets now, the penny stocks, and you can sell and trade and save your money through those, because those stock enablement places help you to save, and you don't want to touch that, or have a creative savings account that you just will not touch, as Booby was talking about.
Mhm.
So if you can do those things and save, and just be a full force naysayer that I'm not gonna touch it. This is for my bucket list. Leave it there and watch it grow. Watch it
Right,
grow.
right, right. And another thing that I had wrote down watching, of course, I stay living on these damn internets all the time. The back in the day beatdown versus the parents and grandparents of this time.
Oh my
Back in the
God.
day, we would whoop them behinds, go get your own switch type of thing. But then
Yeah.
now when we get our grandkids, we're like, oh, come here, let's talk about it. So how do you feel about the back in the day from what our parents did, and then how we ourselves raised up our children, and then when they started having children, next thing you know, we're letting them slide, we're taking them to the mall, we're sending them gift cards.
Exactly.
Don't tell mommy.
Exactly. I call that the weak effect, because you gotta keep your kids in line. They can't keep you in line. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And back in the day, beat downs were those beat downs that where everybody had a chance to whoop your ass. From the neighbor to the grandmama to the grandpa to the cousins, the elders, everybody that saw you doing something, it went from one neighbor to the next until it got to your house where you really got another ass whipping. You know, so you got that. And I think by the time you sat down, your butt was so sore you couldn't do anything, and you
Right.
remembered, I ain't doing that no more.
You remember that
But
beating for the whole day, for
back
the rest of your life.
in
You
the
didn't do
day,
it again.
right, and it wasn't a violent kind of beat down.
Right.
It was to let you know that a child stays in their place and a child has to do these things that a child is supposed to do.
Mhm.
Now, in this day and time, I've been to the grocery store, Booby. I've seen kids 3, 4, 5 years old cuss out their mom like a sailor. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
their language is terrible. And I'm looking at that parent
Like
because it ain't
really?
no business. Like, really, you gonna let a child talk to you, and then you wonder why that child disrespects you in
Right.
front of your company, in front of your family. They dish
Mhm.
you with profanity. They call you out of your names. They
Right.
want to fight you, even. And this, I think that beat down should come back to a certain extent.
Right.
Because
Right.
now, if you chastise your child in the store, you've got some nosy person coming up. I'm going to call security.
And that's
I'm going to
what
call
they
the,
do.
you're just beating that child. That's just violence. Lady, please
Mind
mind your business.
your business, heifer.
This child is, this child is going to live today, tomorrow, and the next day. It's this child is going to
Exactly.
remember. But you can't go down a grocery store aisle with your hand knocking everything off the shelf, saying ha 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 ha. No, it don't work that way. Not,
No,
not
you
in
can't
my
do
neck of the
that.
woods.
My granddaughter did that the other day when I had her. Oh Lord, every minute I was hollering, "Would you come here? Would you stop this, girl, please?" And the last time she ran up the aisle, I snatched her. Swoop! I shook her. Whoop whoop whoop! Are you crazy? Running up and down? You know I whip your butt in the store. So I let her go,
Exactly.
and she looked at me like, the big eye liberty look that she give me.
Right.
And
Like,
out of
what are you
nowhere,
doing
here come a lady, saying the same thing that you said. But that can go two ways.
there?
That conversation can be
Exactly.
like, your nosy heifer, mind your business. Or it can be like, oh, moms, don't do that. Security's watching. They'll arrest you real quick. So that's how far times has changed because in when my kids was growing up and they was running through the store, I did the flying flipper.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
And you took your slipper off, you hit them 3 hours down. We didn't play that much,
Yeah,
but now when we swoop them up, you got the nosy heifer like, girl, da, 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 da. But then you also got the concerned citizen like, ooh, don't do that too many times. Bring in the bathroom, security's watching.
I know, and it's just one of those things, It's like the children of today in this world, Booby, are not like the children that we grew up with in ourselves.
Hmm.
They're the mamas and the daddies of the parents,
Right,
and the parents of the children, and that's not gonna happen in my
right.
household. It never happened, and it never will. You know what I mean? And it's like I've got a quick hand. It's like sometimes you don't want to go into the path of that quick hand, but a lot of times when the kids are disrespecting you, like, hey, you got to watch your mouth.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
this is the first and the last time. You've got 2 minutes and one is already gone, so you better
So
decide
you
on
better
being quiet.
decide real quick what side of
Yeah.
the fence you want to stand on, the quiet side or your butt whipping side. So that's just an
Exactly.
evolution of changes in growing up and life, the life cycle from back then to now, where everything is on a watchful eye, everybody's on TV, and there is a time to report. The man who was whooping the child in the parking lot
Hmm.
aggressively and violently. Later on,
Hmm.
they wound up arresting him that night, because they found out
Exactly.
that the kid was really in a abusive situation. So we do have to be
Exactly.
mindful how we chastise our kids in public. And then the
Exactly.
first thing people will say, they learned that from home. No, they didn't. No, not everything kids do, people do, they learn from home. You learn from off the
Exactly.
TV, you learn from in the street, you just learn. And the kids these days,
Learn.
they I have to say they way smarter than the ones, babies coming out talking already at 4 and 5 months and
I
mimicking
know.
words. They're smarter in this new lifestyle, so they know how much they can get away with too, but they also know if she didn't whip me in the street, she gonna whip my behind as soon as I get home.
Exactly, exactly. And it's really crazy, but with life come changes, and changes bring on more changes. The kids are smarter, true enough, but they're also
Right.
in weaker in it's just common sense.
Mm,
It's like they're weaker in the way that they handle things and how they look at the world. It's like, okay, if it doesn't work for me, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's like the self-centeredness of children today. It seems as if you have children that do respect the world and everything about it. They're trying to help save the world. There are a lot of children like that, but you've got some too that just don't care about nothing but themselves.
Right, right. And then that's the song that they sing. I don't care. I don't care. They don't care if they live. They don't care if they die. They just are walking clueless throughout life. So, it's not from the parents.
Exactly.
A lot of people want to just blame the parents. And another topic that I'd like to talk about also is the topic of the parents, the raising of the kids. When you do come from a single parent home, I saw a young lady online talking about she would never date a man if he didn't come from a family where he had a mother and father. Even though she came from a single parent home, but she would
Yeah,
never date a man so is that what we doing now? Are we not dating men because they didn't have mother and father? And then if they did, who said that the household was 1,000% great all the time because you had both parents? And then when you put these type of ideas out there, like you said, the generation ain't mindfully equipped, then people start believing that nonsense.
exactly. And I disagree with you, being raised by one parent, because it doesn't matter. If it's a mom, she's Mr. Mom and she's Mrs. Mom. And the only difference that I see sometimes with a mother having boys is that sometimes they may need a male figure, but that woman can be strong and assertive and to bring her boys up to be respectable young men in the world. Even though a male figure is often needed sometimes, but that mother who is a single parent there is the breadwinner. She's the pants wearer, she's the dress wearer, she's a preparer,
Right.
she's a judge, she's a jury, she's everything, the doctor, the nurse, the transporter,
He's
so
Proverbs 31.
yeah, and I believe that, and that's why I say, and that's why I love this show, Cooperville underscore
Hmm.
USA, is because we recognize the women in strength who wear the pants and the dress.
Right.
Even the Mr. Moms who have to take on the role of the mother.
Hmm.
So
Right,
I
because it
think
goes both ways. So we're not just
yeah,
only, because we're a woman show talking about the empowerment of women. We don't want, the men, the gentlemen that be watching us think that we're on that one-sided attack the man type of situation, because I have 4 sons, and like I said, one of their father had passed away. So at that
hmm
age, it was just me raising
yeah,
them. And then when you have older kids, that are teenagers and stuff like that, and you do get in relationships, other people don't want to come raise no teenager. If they didn't
no,
start from birth with the kid, that's different. But when you come into a relationship and you got a fully grown teenager, they both looking at each other. So, you know what I'm saying? So those type of scenarios all often play out. So I understand that when they say, you need a man around, but I never said
yeah,
I raised my kids like I was a man. No, I didn't. I cooked and I baked. They know that. They know how to cook.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They know how to fix some stuff like that, but that other man stuff, I didn't do it. And I don't sign on to I don't co-sign on to that part of, that scenario of the single parent versus the home with like
Yeah.
that. I came from
Yeah.
both. They came from both sides. So
Right.
sometimes there's misfortune that why you don't have both parents. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes parents pass away at birth and just pass away along the line, or in those bad situations they give you up and things like that. Those type of things. You know, that's a whole other
Mhm.
topic. But the whole main thing is when you say, you know, that type of statement that
Exactly.
that young lady made. I'm not dating no man if he didn't grow up with a mother and father. Because she said she saw both sides. You know, she dated a single dude who only was raised by a mother, and his actions in treating her was different than the guy she dated who came from the loving couple. So
Mhm.
you may see
Mhm.
more loving stuff when you have a mother and father that are on good terms all the time and they laughing and loving and even fighting and getting back together and keeping the family whole. So that's a good
Mhm.
point right there. But don't throw it out there like women, don't you date no man if he ain't had a mother and a father.
I
Ever please.
disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with that totally. But then everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their thought,
Right.
what they
Right.
want. But I think that back in the day, children who didn't have a father, they were brought up to be decent young men and women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as a result of that, we've had that in our lifespan. That we
Right.
can
Exactly, exactly. So, those are just the things that, I hear on the line and hear people in conversation and stuff like that. But also the quiet shade. When you know that you're being shaded, what's the best way to get around it, get out of it, or do you just bop somebody in the eye?
Well, I think you can handle it respectively in a lot of different ways. You can either ignore it, you can talk
Mhm.
about it, or you could have maybe a confrontation. That sometimes that's what leads to being shaded. But I would just ignore it, you know.
Mhm.
I would- Being me, I would just ignore it. And if it happens again and again, then I'll continue to ignore it. Just don't come up into my face and say something to me
Right.
that's disrespectful because at that point I can't guarantee you what I might say.
You said, then I might have to bop you. So those are the things that, people go through in life. You see people shading you. What do you want to do? Do you want to get up in their face or do you walk away and just live for another day? Because, the world is crazy. Before we used to go da, 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 back with somebody and they da, 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 back with you. But now is an instant shootout, murder happens, all kinds of nonsense that just leads to, you know what, if you mind your business and leave mines alone, we wouldn't have to do that to each other. But pettiness, that's what it comes down to too. Pettiness.
Exactly.
And do you think people do it because they're secretly jealous or something like that? Maybe they can't do what they feel that you're doing, so I rather roll my eyes and give you the bombastic side eye.
Well, I think that there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of jealousy going on. There's a lot of jealousy going on in that movie. And it's because a person hates to see you succeed
Hmm.
when if they really took a look at themselves in the mirror and found out what they could do good, they
Right.
would try to ensure, to try to pursue, not ensure, to pursue what they see in themselves and stop trying to destroy what someone else sees in themselves.
Right.
You know, I think it's jealousy, a lot
Yes,
of
I think
bullying.
that. Right. Everybody got their own personal light. And what you have to do is let your light shine. You have to be able
Hmm.
to find out what makes you you. So, like a show host or a podcast, that's really right up my alley as much as I run my mouth. And then with like a
Exactly.
podcast, you're really talking to yourself all day if you got a single one. So now you can really talk all day like that.
Ex-
So if that's your alley, talking and stuff like that, or if you're somebody that's into making t-shirts and home baked goodies and stuff like that, just find out what you enjoy in life and what you like to do for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, next topic. You're watching Cougarville underscore USA with Booby Taylor and myself, Queen Gigi
All
1015. We
right.
have some topics for you. Let's move it, girl.
All right. So, what's most important to you in life, in family, and in business? What's most important to you? How do you maneuver your everyday living on that subject right there? What's most important to you? We know family is, but is it making the dollar? Is it just always chasing the money? What's most important to you in your life that gets you up
I
in
think
the morning?
preparedness and knowing what your day is going to be like, having that preparation to know this is what I'm going to execute for the day. You already know that you have your family there in that bond of love, but you want to make sure that when you step out on that day, that dollar sign means that that's that ka-ching that you're going to hit that time clock for to work for, to go
Mhm,
back home and take care of your families and do the other things that you want to do, for vacationing and whatever.
mhm.
But the most important thing is preparedness to know that I'm sure-footed in this what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to do
Right,
today, and I'm going to do this every day to execute what I need to take care of my family. I think that to me, that's what I would do,
right,
and to know that I have a sure foot. My foot is on ground all the time.
right. And don't make money to be like that's your own. Like we said before, we need money to live, to move around, and all of that stuff. But don't make it be like I'll die, if I can't, there's always another way, not all of us was born to be those big time billionaires, but if we can get there, we can. So if you have that type of money,
Mhm.
what are you doing with it? Are you helping the neighborhood, the community? Are you giving back? Or are you keeping it for yourself? Don't let money make you be a selfish type of person. If you was to come in that type of riches and billions or even a little bit of coin sometime, don't let it rule you to make you think that you're better than someone else, because that money can dry up and go away real quick and you'll be right back down where you started from. So sitting on your high horse, bring yourself back down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Bring yourself down a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, and make sure that you are
Right.
prepared. Everything is right for you and your household. Don't worry about nobody else. Just worry about
Just
yourself and
mind
your
your
family.
business. Mind your business. So I'm winding down. I got two more topics that I'm gonna talk about. The imitation of life and shows. Copycats. Are we
Okay.
copycats? Are we the originators? Sometimes you do something and you talk to someone, and next thing you know, they're doing the same exact thing that you was doing. Even though there's room
Mhm.
for everybody, and we're not really the originators. We didn't start podcasts. We didn't start interviews. Those things happened centuries and trillions of years ago. So the
Exactly.
imitation of life and copycatting. How far do you mimic someone then to make it your own personal thing?
Well, first of all, I don't think that mimicking someone would be a solution because I believe that you should use your own creativeness to do what you have to do, because if you're copying off of someone, you're not original in the first place, and therefore it's going to cause some kind of altercation down the line, especially when that person know that you're doing the same thing that they're doing per se.
Right.
It's kind of like in writing when you're copying words from someone else and you're using plagiarism. Be yourself. Don't copy off of someone. I think the lie needs to stop in the middle, and like you do what you do and let them do what they do. It's okay to take advice or hinters or pointers from that person, I believe, but don't just copy off of them, because you're not genuine. Then what talents do you have? Pull them out and see what you
Right.
got inside of yourself.
Right. Right. Make your work, because
Yeah,
like I said, we didn't start, there was so many talk show hosts and all of this centuries ago. Well, we ain't that old, but there was so, in the beginning. So, but just make sure that your idea is your idea. And if you need help from someone, find out and get the help instead of like trying to steal a person's idea and make it your own. Get
exactly.
some help. Ask them how they got to where they got to. Not everybody is willing to give out that information when they reach certain levels of achievement, but there are some people that do help. So instead of copycatting and then claiming something that wasn't yours, just go find out how to do it. And we're living in a time, once again, where there's so much resources. Back before, we still had resources before the internet, because we still had libraries and we still had people that knew how to do stuff. We just got lazy, because
Yeah,
instead of like, remember back when we go to the library, you had to open the drawer and flip through the
yeah.
file cabinet to
Very
look for the
careful.
book. Then you
Right.
had to read the number and find it on the
Yeah.
shelf. Then
Yeah,
go back and flip through it again to put the card back. So that gave us meaning.
really. And you know what? You made me think about something when you said that too. You know, when you go into the stores, boo, everything is automated, right?
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
back in the day when I was working as a kid in the little hot dog places and the little restaurants and stuff like that,
Right.
and at the cash register, you had to know how to count money,
Uh-huh.
right? What amazes me is you got a high technology cash registers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing to me to see that these kids still, when it gives you the amount of change on the window, they still cannot give
They
you the
still don't
right
know how to
amount of
count.
change. They still know how to count. And I'm like, what is going on here? Because it's like technology has taken over the brains of these kids and they're using technology. Technology is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it in any way. But you gotta have some smarts to know how to do things. You just can't let machines, because if that's the case, then we're all gonna be replaced by AI robots one day.
Exactly, and that's what's happening now, because when we can't keep up, they replace us. And even if we can keep up, the robots move faster. They don't have to take too long thinking and stuff like that. So just make sure that you keep your mind sharp. There's games, word puzzles, all kind of things like that that you can do to keep your mind sharp as you start getting older up there in life. Exercise, those little things help. Eating the right foods, and you're eating the right foods because you're watching the labels as you're shopping and in your own cabinets as well. So those are the things
Exactly.
that make a difference to give you a long, healthy, outstanding life. And here's the last topic that I have. Is there a time limit on a favor? Ever had somebody do
Mhm.
something for you and then they just kept going on and on? Remember when I brought you that drink of soda? Remember that day, and then it's like you owe them for the rest of the lifetime of the friendship. Is there a time limit on a favor?
Mm.
I mean, it's fun to talk about it sometime when you be like, yeah, remember when I did that? But at the same time, how long do you owe somebody because they did a favor for you? You know?
First of all, I don't think that, let me get this right. A favor, me personally, again, I think if you do something for someone, it's from your heart.
Hmm.
So as long as you know that, and God knows it, and the person knows it, there shouldn't be a time limit on it because it's already
Right,
done. It's in the universe. You've done it.
right.
So therefore, it'll be permanently known by you and the person that you did it for. So I don't think there should be a time limit on it because it's done.
Right.
It's. You
Or
know,
is there a time to stop talking about it?
yeah,
Even though it's not like a payback situation, or even if you did pay a person back, is there a time limit on you talking about it? If it's something that happened maybe like in your childhood and then you relive that moment later on, that's one thing. But do you constantly remind somebody, remember when I brought you that beer? Remember when I did this for you? Remember if it wasn't for me? And is there a
but
time limit on the favor?
I don't think that that's really necessary because deep down inside that person automatically they know what you did for
Mhm,
them. But what I think what you should handle would be the situation at hand at the present time and not go back into past time because it's already been done.
right.
So why bring it up again and have a bickering over it when it's not really necessary? It's, if I found $500 on the street and I picked it up, knowing it was good money, put it in my pocket, and I'm passing by someone that's laying on the street, I would give that money to
Mhm,
them. And you know why? Because I picked it up, I found it because I was blessed. So why not I bless someone else and move on? Even though I may need it myself,
right.
but I can see what someone else needs it more than me. So I don't think that it should be carried on. I think that you do it and let it go.
Right. Just do it and let it go. So those are my topics for today, y'all. All of those things I sit down and I think about all week long, and I hear people talk about things, and then sometimes you just want the answer and find out what other people is thinking. And that's what we do here on Cougarville_USA on Saturdays, where we talk about all kinds of things, empowerment and lifting each other up, supporting other people's business and brands, which we would like people to support back our business and our brands too. We take our
Exactly.
show very seriously. We dedicate ourselves to researching and finding facts, to talk about, whether it makes sense or not. We're out there, we're working hard. We come up with our topics, ideas. G is always researching, grants and, different type of things to keep the thing going. So this is not just like, oh, they ain't got nothing to do. This is really
And we
serious
have a
for
lot
us.
to do.
This
Trust
is
us.
like our life right now. So we would appreciate and love, the support.
We
And that's one thing we talked about earlier, supporting each other. The barter system, if you don't have a
exactly.
payment or the payment is too high, what do you barter back and forth? And it's so easy to support somebody by reposting their posts. Even if you can't download
Exactly.
it in your phone, most apps got buttons where you can remix it, and all you got to do is add a little sticker and it can repost like that. Put a picture or two up on your page. When we're talking about your business, let us go back and look on your page and see us on your page too, because you're supporting. It doesn't take a lot. Like, someone asked me to help them out, and I gave them a price, and they didn't get back with me whether they was going to move forward or not do it. So obviously it didn't happen. But the thing is, when I went to go back and look to find out what happened, because they stopped following me, talking and everything, I seen a post like, how do you support somebody's business for free? It works both
Exactly.
ways. Those type of things works both ways. If a payment is something that you don't have, or you feel like I ain't paying them, guess what? Put our page on your, post a picture. That's all. It's just a post and a picture. When those things work back and forth, the
Mhm.
communication, then the friendships last longer. But when there's no communication and no back and forth, then that ends everything.
Exactly.
So let's not keep that happening. We're a business, we're a brand too. you know if you like us, you like us. If you don't, that's okay. That's fine.
Exactly.
We're not forcing ourselves on anybody, but one hand wash the other. and two of
That's
them wash the
right.
face and the back and all of that good stuff. Two wash the whole body. So just, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So that's just all said out of love. And then sometimes when we do say stuff, it's not to talk about any particular people or put anybody down. It's to let y'all know that we're strong black women. We do
Yeah, and we're doing
have
our
a
thing.
business. We're out here doing our thing just the same way
Exactly.
you're doing your thing, and with
Exactly.
help with Michelle Moore, G Sweetums, the three of us, we do the best to make it work. So the only thing we
Exactly.
ask is just repost some of our stuff. If it ain't a price
Yeah.
that you can pay, or even if we say, well, we're gonna charge you this, and you looking like, oh no, you not. Guess what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna make you two flyers for your show and more
Exactly.
assistance.
Because you're right, and like you said earlier, that word barter, booby, the word barter comes in again because I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's just like with all these authors that we have, and we post, we talk about them every time we have a show, and all we ask is that if you could just share our link or share the video or come on, even for a few minutes,
Right,
and let us know, give us your thoughts or your ideas about something, or what would you like for us to talk about?
right,
What businesses did you have that would you like for us to share? Would you like to come on and be a guest on our show? All these things
right.
are possible because we're looking for sponsors so we can represent them. All of these
Exactly.
things are part of us doing it. And we're not just, as people call us call me little old lady. I'm not a little old lady. I'm a woman. I'm a woman, baby. So I've got life and I've got hopes, dreams, wishes, and desires, aspirations, and I'm doing all of those things.
Right.
I'm a freelance writer, I'm a playwright, I'm a stage playwright, I'm a manager, I'm an author. I'm a lot of things. I'm
A
a
positive
songwriter, I'm a
coach
mother.
with a license. So, and everything that
Right.
she does, she got license and everything for it. So it's not like we're just, out there just to be out there, oh, we older, we ain't got nothing to do. And this is really, this is our something to do. And it means a lot to us. And the passion and love that we do have for our shows. We be on the phone,
Exactly.
just going back and forth with ideas and stuff like that. So
Exactly.
even if you have an idea and you say, well, you know what, I think this might can help you, but I'm gonna DM it to you privately. Do
Exactly.
it that way. And then one thing, this is the last thing I'm gonna say.
Hmm.
When you do make the DMs, make them respectfully. Don't hit the DMs with that naked stuff, with that I want you. Um, G is not. She's not a single woman. I'm single, but I don't want you doing that in my
But I
DM
am,
neither. Let's make
but
it
I'm a
be
widow.
about business and respect.
I'm single because I'm a widower. I'm a widow now. My husband passed last year, but still the detrimental little direct messages that you guys put it in my box
Mhm.
and stuff. It's very disrespectful. Um, I'm a full bodied woman. I have a mind. I've had gray hair for a long time, ever since I was in my 20s. And just because it's like this doesn't mean that I'm no good at anything.
Right,
You'd be surprised. But don't disrespect us. Myself, Booby, or Michelle. And listen, because we have a lot of knowledge that we would like to give out to you guys and everything. And it's just like we're supporting everybody, like Tanaki, Tanene.
right.
Tanaki has she's a twin of Tanaki. She's a
Mhm.
twin. Tanaki is an author, Arthur Mason. She has a book. She has two books, Illusions and the
Right,
Lord's Prayer.
right.
Michelle Moore. She's my goddaughter. She's also our co-host here. She's always monitoring the box and she can come on whenever she can, um, and let us know about her books. We talk about her books. She's on Amazon.com as well. There's Church Clicks and there's Passion Light.
Mhm.
What is the wildest dream? Support those authors. Also, I have books out. Dolores, Jobelene,
Right.
The Wailing Alien, and we are writing scripts now. We're waiting on something that we're hopeful that will come about. And here on Cougarville, we ask that you gift us, give us a star, send us a gift star or whatever, because we're trying to open up a whole new segment of Cougarville
Mhm.
underscore to try to maintain and to purchase a building so we can
Right.
have that building as our studio. And we're just asking for support. So you guys, if you want to support us, we'd appreciate it. Even though everybody has abandoned us right now, I don't see any viewers, but they'll see this video, and hopefully they can gift us,
Right.
because
Right.
I think that I like this platform with Facebook because we don't have any distortions or discrepancies or anything with it right
Right.
now. And let's just, we probably will take this Cougarville from Instagram and
Mhm.
bring it to Facebook, because
Right.
I like the transition. We haven't had any distortions or
Well, I
anything
don't
like that, you
know.
know.
On my phone, it looks like it's black. Can you see me?
I see you, but you're not
Okay,
moving.
I don't see nothing. Both my screens is black, the top part and the bottom part. So I don't know if that means they're getting ready to cut it off. So before they get ready to cut it off, I want to say thank you for joining us on Cougarville. We tried on Instagram. It was technical difficulties. We were able to jump in on Facebook. We appreciate everybody that tunes in with us each and every Saturday. And we love you all. And just remember, the sun is shining and so are you.
Yes, that's true. And also remember Michelle Moore. Also, we're going to have a guest, Pretty Baby, and she's going to be talking about her book. She's also on Instagram, and she wrote a book about Speak Up, Silence is Deadly. Thank you, Michelle, for that title. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to leave the show. I think we've been on here an hour, Booby. I'm not sure.
Right.
But you guys support us because we want to support you. Direct messages. I'm Gigi Adams on Facebook. I'm Queen Gigi 1015 on Instagram. Booby, and your
The Real Booby Taylor page on Instagram and anything Booby Taylor, and Let's Talk Booby Taylor on YouTube. So pull up the YouTube, put in Booby Taylor, put in Cougarville. You'll see our shows on YouTube and shorts and reels. We are worldwide, baby, worldwide.
And we're moving forward. And also, don't forget Michelle Moore. She's also on Facebook, and she's G Sweetums 9679 on Instagram. So you guys, you have a wonderful evening, and we're sorry for all the things that may have happened in your families that are not good for you on this day. But we also lift you up in prayer and let you know that strength and love is here for you in your needs of time, in your times of need. So thank you for watching, and you guys take care. This is Cougarville underscore Queen Gigi 1015.
And the Real Booby Taylor, and we'll talk to you soon. And G Sweetums, Michelle Moore, make sure you check her out. She's right here. You don't see her all the time, but she's here with us.
She's there. She's always there. She's always there somewhere. We know she's there. So you guys take care, and talk to you
All
next week. Bye
right.
bye.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, Cougarville underscore USA. Make sure that you check us out on Saturdays. We'll be here live on Facebook from 2 to 3 p.m. You guys want to come in the box and you have some information, you can star us. You can also donate to us, if you would like to. Any amount is fine. And we're trying to get that building situated, and we're going to have that studio so we can have live guests, we can have a band, we can have a lot of other things there, and we're moving forward in society. So Cougarville underscore USA, and that link is also $ Midnight Storm 75, and also $Cougarville 2024. Thank you, you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.